of the hills, where formerly the blazing sun had parched the jungle and beaten it close to earth, blossomed into trees and shrubs and flowers. Not only had the Nature Man become self-supporting, but he was now a prosperous agriculturist with produce to sell to the city dwellers of Papeete. Then it was discovered that his land, which the government officials had informed him was without an owner, really had an owner, and that deeds, descriptions, etc., were on record. All his work bade fair to be lost. The land had been valueless when he took it up, and the owner, a large landholder, was unaware of the extent to which the Nature Man had developed it. A just price was agreed upon, and Darling's deed was officially filed. Next came a more crushing blow. Darling's access to market was destroyed. The road he had built was fenced across by triple barbed wire fences. It was one of those jumbles in human affairs that is so common in this absurdest of social systems. Behind it was the fine hand of the same conservative element that haled the Nature Man before the Insanity Commission in Los Angeles and that deported him from Hawaii. It is so hard for self-satisfied men to understand any man whose satisfactions are fundamentally different. It seems clear that the officials have connived with the conservative element, for to this day the road the Nature Man built is closed. Nothing has been done about it, while an adamant unwillingness to do anything about it is evidenced on every hand. But the Nature Man dances and sings along his way. He does not sit up nights thinking about the wrong which has been done him. He leaves the worrying to the doers of the wrong. He has no time for bitterness. He believes he is in the world for the purpose of being happy, and he has not a moment to waste in any other pursuit. The road to his plantation is blocked. He cannot build a new road, for there is no ground on which he can build it. The government has restricted him to a wild pig trail, which runs precipitously up the mountain. I climbed the trail with him, and we had to climb with hands and feet in order to get up. Nor can that wild pig trail be made into a road by any amount of toil less than that of an engineer, a steam engine, and a steel cable. But what does the Nature Man care? In his gentle ethics the evil men do him he requites with goodness, and who shall say he is not happier than they? "Never mind their pesky road," he said to me as we dragged ourselves up a shelf of rock and sat down, panting, to rest. "I'll get an air machine soon and fool them. I'm clearing a level space for a landing stage for airships, and next time you come to Tahiti you will alight right at my door." Yes, the Nature Man has some strange ideas besides that of the gorilla pounding his chest in the African jungle. The Nature Man has ideas about levitation. "Yes, sir," he said to me, "levitation's not impossible. And think of the glory of it, lifting one's self from the ground by an act of will. Think of it! The astronomers tell us that our whole solar system is dying, that, barring accidents, it will all be so cold that no life can live upon it. Very well. In that day all men will be accomplished levitationists, and they will leave this perishing planet and seek more hospitable worlds. How can levitation be accomplished? By progressive fasts. Yes, I have tried them, and toward the end I could feel myself actually getting lighter." The man is a maniac, I thought. "Of course," he added, "these are only theories of mine. I like to speculate upon the glorious future of man. Levitation may not be possible, but I like to think of it as possible." One evening, when he yawned, I asked him how much sleep he allowed himself. "7 hours," was the answer. "But in 10 years I'll be sleeping only 6 hours, and in 20 years only 5 hours. You see, I shall cut off an hour's sleep every 10 years." "Then when you are 100 you won't be sleeping at all," I interjected. "Just that, exactly that. When I am 100 I shall not require sleep. Also, I shall be living on air. There are plants that live on air, you know." "But has any man ever succeeded in doing it?" He shook his head. "I never heard of him if he did. But it is only a theory of mine, this living on air. It would be fine, wouldn't it? Of course it may be impossible. Most likely it is. You see, I'm not unpractical. I never forget the present. When I soar ahead into the future I always leave a string by which to find my way back again." I fear me the Nature Man is a joker. At any rate, he lives the simple life. His laundry bill cannot be large. Up on his plantation he lives on fruit, the labor cost of which, in cash, he estimates at 5 cents a day. At present, because of his obstructed road and because he is head over heels in the propaganda of socialism, he is living in town, where his expenses, including rent, are 25 cents a day. In order to pay those expenses, he is running a night school for Chinese. The nature man is not bigoted. When there is nothing better to eat than meat, he eats meat, as, for instance, when in jail or on shipboard and the nuts and fruits give out. Nor does he seem to crystallize into anything except sunburn. Drop anchor anywhere and the anchor will drag, that is, if your soul is a limitless, fathomless sea and not dog-pound. He quoted to me, then added, "You see, my anchor is always dragging. I live for human health and progress, and I strive to drag my anchor always in that direction. To me, the two are identical. Dragging anchor is what has saved me. My anchor did not hold me to my deathbed. I dragged anchor into the brush and fooled the doctors. When I recovered health and strength, I started, by preaching and by example, to teach the people to become nature men and nature women. But they had deaf ears. Then on the steamer coming to Tahiti, a quartermaster expounded socialism to me. He showed me that an economic square deal was necessary before men and women could live naturally. So I dragged anchor once more, and now I am working for the cooperative commonwealth. When that arrives, it will be easy to bring about nature living. I had a dream last night," he went on, thoughtfully, his face slowly breaking into a glow. "It seemed that 25 nature men and nature women had just arrived on the steamer from California, and that I was starting to go with them up the wild pig trail to the plantation. Ah me, Ernest Darling, sun worshipper and nature man, there are times when I am compelled to envy you and your carefree existence. I see you now, dancing up the steps and cutting antics on the veranda. Your hair dripping from a plunge in the salt sea, your eyes sparkling, your sun-gilded body flashing, your chest resounding to the devil's own tattoo as you chant, "The gorilla in the African jungle pounds his chest until the noise of it can be heard half a mile away." And I shall see you always as I saw you that last day when the Snark poked her nose once more through the passage in the smoking reef, outward bound, and I waved good-bye to those on shore. Not least in good will and affection was the wave I gave to the golden sun god in the scarlet loincloth, standing upright in his tiny outrigger canoe. End of Chapter 11. Recorded by Brian Ness. This recording is in the public domain.